5 years. None work harder. If we want to find a more harder working administration, we have to go back to Edward Philip George Siaga of 1980s. Yes, we have to, that's how far back we have to go. That's how far back we have to go if we want to find an administration that is working. The administration that started the period of Reconstruction. the administration that built back this country after the devastation of the 70s. That administration, this administration of Andrew Holness is Edward Siaga administration and steroids. When we bring in persons like R.J. Marks is another gem that was picked out of the rut. Big up yourself, Paolo. As another gem that was picked out of the rut by Andrew Holness. He, the man who gave us Nigel Clark, the man who gave us Favour Williams, has now brought us Ambassador R.J. Marks. The man that turned a Duncan into a JLP senator, the man who bring your Keith Duncan as a JLP senator is the man who now give us R.J. Marks. R.J. Marks is leading the most transformative ministry in this country, and that is why I was playing this. I want to go from the beginning again, because this little section here is when I come back probably tomorrow. As so much stress me, I forgot to find. Sorry, Jamaican, yeah, me there. I want to broadcast our entire speech in the parliament, but I have to do it this way, so for me, please. I'm sorry, you TikTokers, you won't be able to hear it. Next, so I finish MP that. Dana, yes, you win. How me forget Dana Maris? All right, Jamaican, you over here, the Jenko people. As I said, if you're not following me on YouTube, just hop over to YouTube, give us a follow. Same name, Chuck Finley 34 on YouTube.
Identity is what allows people to access jobs, banking services, healthcare, government services, and economic opportunity. If we are serious about reducing bureaucracy, improving efficiency, and modernizing public services, then we must also modernize our identity and civil registration services are delivered. Mr. Speaker, over the past year, NERA has been quietly building the foundation for that transformation, and we are now starting to see meaningful results. First, I'd like to announce today that NERA is Jamaica's newest 24/7 online act service. It is now among the first government services to provide 24/7 online access to all of its essential services, whether you're at home, overseas, in the diaspora, or in your office. Jamaicans can now complete urgently needed transactions online, including applications for document recovery, birth certificates, death certificates, identification card applications, marriage certificates, renewals, and many more. These services deliver real and meaningful benefits to citizens by reducing administrative delays in critical areas such as school admissions, visa applications, bank loan approvals, insurance claims, and access to countless other essential services that Jamaicans depend on every day. For businesses and institutions, these innovations create a stronger, more secure foundation for efficiency by enabling faster onboarding of employees and customers, improving identity verification, and strengthening fraud prevention measures. Secondly, I'd like to highlight NERA's post-Hurricane Melissa document recovery program. Mr. Speaker, disasters have a cruel way of taking from people what they cannot easily replace. When someone loses a birth certificate, marriage certificate, deed code, they can lose access to jobs, banking services, healthcare, education, and even government support. That is why NERA operationalized a national document recovery program following Hurricane Melissa to provide rapid support to affected Jamaicans. To date, NERA has processed 47,562 document recovery applications, helping thousands of Jamaicans rebuild their lives in the aftermath of disaster. Importantly, 856 of our most vulnerable citizens receive these essential services free of cost.
I almost gave up on my sex life at 58.
Ensuring that compassion, dignity, and national support reach those who needed it most. And Mr. Speaker, recognizing that hardship does not end with hurricanes, this vital program has now been permanently institutionalized to support Jamaicans impacted by fires, floods, and other emergencies. This means that in times of crisis, citizens will continue to have reliable access to critical document recovery services, strengthening national resilience and ensuring that no Jamaican is left behind. Access is available 24/7 at nero.gov.jm. And just to share with you, this weekend, I was in Negril and Councillor Miller called that there was a fire in the family in the constituency. Their residence was totally burned down. 8 families affected. So
RJ Marks is bringing government service to you.
That they were sharing. The one that was most problematic for the most elderly person was the fact that his pension book was gone and all his documents. And so while we were able to provide immediate support, what gave me the most pleasure was that I could share that the documents will be replaced, and Minister Charles, I know the pension book will also be replaced. So this program is having, for me, real and immediate impact. Mr. Speaker, an identification services outreach was piloted in my constituency, and now we are ready to expand to all 62 other constituencies. Members of Parliament, you'd have received an email invitation to indicate your willingness to participate in the program. I thank you all for who have responded. Mr. Speaker, the National Identification Card Project has also purchased mobile units that will be used for the constituency outreach programs aimed at bringing government services closer to the people. The mobile units will be ready for June 2026. This is what it means to be a people-centered government. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to highlight the expansion of NERA's National Identification Card Enrollment Centers. Over the past month, NERA has expanded significantly beyond the one location that was there previously at the Central Sorting Office in Kingston. National identification services are now being rolled out in Montego Bay, St. Anne's Bay, Port Antonio, Maypen, Santa Cruz, Mandeville, Twickenham Park, Portmore, and downtown Kingston. These locations are scheduled to be fully operational by the end of this month. The Savannah Lamar Register General's Department office was destroyed during Hurricane Melissa. Member from Central Westmoreland. In response, a new location is currently being renovated at the Savannah Lamar Post Office, which reopening is scheduled for mid-July 2026. The new location is configured to provide both civil registration and national identification services, as well as a modern post office banking hall. You nearly missed it, you know. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, in addition to Savannah Lamar, many other post offices are presently being renovated by Nero to provide both civil registration and national identification services. By July 2026, the service centers at Brownstown, Spalding, Ochoria, St. Ansby, Falmouth,
One
Lucy, Santa
visit,
Cruz, and
one
Montego Bay are
transaction,
scheduled for completion.
same day document.
Let me now highlight the few priority areas
One
of
visit,
and
one
integration of the national
transaction,
identification
same
card
day
as soon as a
document.
person is licensed to drive.
When me say Audrey is another gem. Audrey, Audrey is a gem. Somebody said Dana Morris Dixon, also another gem. This is the kind of leadership we have built. People who, Audrey Marks told a story in her presentation where she said, a few years ago when she was the ambassador, she brought a group of Marlon Morgan, Nesta Morgan, Floyd Green, rock stars. She brought a group of investors to Jamaica. Fly them out, gonna open my little business, and she fly out with them, you know, pop in 2 days, get the thing done. And when she come here, the people, the simplest act of opening a bank account could not be done in 1 day. Could not be done in 1 day. And she's back now with a vengeance to improve all the problem that she saw. You know how convenient it would be long ago if we could vehicle registration online, license application online. You know, most people dread if you go sit down on a tax office for an entire day to get things done. Audrey Marks is leading probably the most transformative ministry we have. Audrey Marks is leading that. Audrey Marks is leading that. And at the end of it, that's birthday, the woman from Gale in St. Mary. And at the end of her tenure, we're gonna be looking at and say, boy, Andrew Holness, you really know if you pick them. This is the same one that picked out Nigel Clark out of nowhere. When me say Omalo there, so me can say this. Giving us the greatest finance minister we've ever had. Nobody saw Nigel Clark but Andrew Holness. In fact, there's a whole heap of Labourite. I will not say if I was one of them, who was questioning where this man come from a jump in. And he turned out to be a gem. Kamina Johnson Smith. When Kamina took over, Jamaica had visa-free access to, I think it was 79 countries we had visa-free access to. 79 under the previous administration. Under Kamina Johnson Smith, Jamaica passport can get you to over 130 countries visa-free. Under Kamina Johnson Smith, over 130 countries you can enter visa-free. So these little gems, when we pick them out, a Fly Green, Nesta Morgan, these are people who have contributions to make. And possibly, One of the greatest achievements of Andrew Holness administration. Yes, JP Falai, Matthew Samuda. One of the greatest achievements as a labor right administration was to get Senator Keith Duncan as a labor rights senator. If you know Jamaican politics, you know the Duncan name. DK Duncan. And to get Ed Duncan to choose to sit on the Jamaica Labour Party side is not a small task. Keith Duncan was the man who piloted the first Jamaica debt exchange to the business community. He was the one who sat with his peers and explained to them the importance of buying into the first debt exchange. He did that. And I've always yes, JLP for life over TikTok. I've always made the comparison between his position, yes, and EPAC. Good point. Because up until recently, I've always thought EPAC was an idea from the People's National Party, but it was not. Keith Duncan has enlightened us recently that it was the business community that approached the government to set up EPAC. Yes. So even now, even with Mark Gold in comparison now, is that when Mark Gold had the opportunity to be the liaison between the government and the business community, he used that to enrich himself and to destroy 40,000 business. That's how that was used under his tenure. We see Keith Duncan shed the family burden and move to choose Jamaica overall. To choose Jamaica over all things. That is where we see it is now. That is where we see it now. But as me say, it is indeed a good look for us. It is a good look for us. Is one that we will always. Sorry, there's another video I wanted to play for you. I'm trying to find it. Just if I look a little distracting. It was a message for this is what it was the Prime Minister speaking recently. Shook. The Prime Minister speaking recently. Yeah, it was the Prime Minister speaking recently about if it don't take long, it's no good. Yes, I'm trying to find the Prime Minister. Well, give me a second. Just 1 second. It's coming. It is coming. Oh, shook. I do it wrong. This is what I'm doing wrong. Okay, remove this. Sorry, remember me telling this, I'm not really skilled yet, you know. Sorry, TikTok has soon come. I know I do my TikTok people, but they are with me every day, you know. I can't leave TikTok and not play the Prime Minister. As a Andrew Heights, Sorry, that one ain't gonna work for me. But YouTube folks, I've come to the end of today's broadcast. 90 minutes is good enough, and we have to say goodbye, you know. But as I said, I will not be a stranger. I'll be setting a proper YouTube schedule. For sure, I will be here every Saturday and most Mondays. I think probably I'll be here in the day more than nights, as I work nights, so I'll be here in the day. So it's probably gonna be a live day show for YouTube, but we will be here sharing the information. I appreciate you all, and come again. And this is the Chuck Stop, and I am your host, the great Chuck Finley. Chops Media, I see your land over here. Yes, that was me signing off on YouTube. Let me come over TikTok. Need to post a video properly in a couple of minutes, but never look at time for TikTok. Chops Media, big up yourself. We're blessings. Mr. Perry is still here. Yes, my folks. I hope most of you find your way over to YouTube and leave a little channel of support over there. We are opening up. We're so expanded that whole more we have to go. A whole more we have to do. But we are going to get it done, you know. We are going to get it done. Yeah, I'll get it done. I'll get it done, man. So we just share it up. But yeah, man, people. Yeah, man. That was my first. Not the first, but it's the first in a while since I've not been on YouTube. And we are bringing the message right across now. Believe us. But as I was saying over there, my people, under no circumstances should we allow a Mark Golden-led PMP to take back control of this country. And I believe that wholeheartedly. That's something I say because I feel like. That's something because I know the dangers of these people. I have seen them at work. I've lived through them. And the fact is, majority, not all, majority of the problems that we are facing now, majority of the problems that we are facing now is as a result of decisions that were made 20 years ago. As a result of decisions that were made 20 years ago. The decisions were they make where Mark Golden, Omar Davis, Peter Bunting, the decisions that were made by them were so detrimental that we are having, even 30 years later, we are having ripple effects from it. We, me and others, we speak of FinSec as a financial sector meltdown. But nobody has ever measured the effect it had on the health sector, the education sector, national security, every sector it affects. Every sector it affects. And most of them don't recover yet. Most of them don't recover. Yes, Perry just come and tell me, say, we must stop talking about it. Oh, it's been 30 years. Stop talking about it. No, Perry. FinSec will always be a part of the Jamaica history. Because even when we set up and we rebuild and we get from under it, we're still gonna be 30 years behind where we should have been. we're still gonna be behind. So we can't stop talk about it. Not because it makes you uncomfortable. Not because it makes you uncomfortable. But we're going to talk about it because of the damage it causes. A whole heap of people picnic couldn't go to university because them parents lose everything. A whole heap of people turn to the streets. When you pass a half a tree and you see a one striving businessman sit on a roadside and sell to sweetie, tell him not to talk about Finsack. When you go to half a tree and you see Meshack Willis sit down in a half a tree and sell to sweetie, we try to make ends meet. Tell him. When you see people like a Lola Gray Baker, tell them to stop talking about it. You see Perry Young, so me understand him. And his father is a comrade, so his father won't tell him the truth. But when you see a man who pretends say he love God, and he come every day and he turn and he live and he pray and he pray and he pray. Nothing wrong with prayer, you know, Perry, but make sure you pray for the right thing. Pray for understanding. Pray God to forgive the party where you support. And I take note that even though you pretend to support them, you never cast a vote. You never cast a vote in honor. You never cast a vote in them honor. You're going to sell me back my one stream here. I say, yeah, work. He did not. Bertie, let me tell you, man. Bertie, when somebody like me sit down, who live the devastation. Remember, you know, we know of the devastation of the 70s, you know. We know of the Manly devastation. And I said before that even during Manly, it wasn't the lack of ideas was the problem, you know. They never lack ideas. What they lack was the will to lead, the will to implement these ideas. And now we have a different version of the PMP that believe in destroying institution. If you not say what them want, it will mash up. If I know them own it, it will mash up. It is shocking when I see an opposition party call a press conference and tell people, say, oh, we did not sign off on this project, so it shouldn't happen. The opposition party, you know, tell people, say, we never sign off on a project, so it shouldn't happen. I did not know we run what we call it again, coalition government in Jamaica. I did not know that. I know we have election, we have a winning party and a losing party. PMP are so much hungry for power that they want to lead. Them believe, so them will lead from the opposition bench. That is the position when thinking for whole Jambisco. But we don't have those things in Jamaica. No such thing in Jamaica as no co-government. We have a government, we have an opposition. The government must be allowed to lead. And must be given the freedom to lead. I never recall PJ in any of his 14 and a half years in charge taking advice from Edward Seaga on how to govern. I never recall Omar Davis taking advice from Ardley Shaw about the finance. Even when Ardley Shaw was advising him that, hey, you can go to the Chinese Exim Bank and you get cheap money to borrow. Him never look over Ardley Shaw way. Even when Ardley Shaw advised him, say, listen to me, man, just go to the Exim Bank and you can get free money to borrow, cheap money to borrow, single digit interest rate. He never look. But all of a sudden now, all these ideas, oh, the opposition must be this. Opposition must sit down, look, and wait. The elected government, the elected party, have no obligation to take any instruction from an opposition party. None. Worse one, we have behave like them in charge. And one that obviously don't have the best interest of the people of Jamaica at heart. A party that obviously do not have the interest of the Jamaican people at heart. Like I believe the PMP now don't. They don't give a crap ass about the people of Jamaica. If they did, they wouldn't be voting against Nara. If they did, they would not be voting against Nara. They would not be voting against Nara, but they are. Because guess what? Nara is designed to actually benefit people. And there is nothing PMP will. There's nothing PMP hate more than anything that benefit the Jamaican people. I've often said this, that everything that was in the best interest of the Jamaican people, the PMP is on record of voting against it. PMP is on record as voting against it. They have never been a true supporter of the development of Jamaica, and they never will be. And they never will be. It's not in their nature. Their nature is to do what they can to gain power. And when they do get power, they don't know what to do with it. They use the power to destroy. They use the power to set us back. Between 1970, 72 and 1980, we lost 25% of our GDP. They inherited an economy that grew at as high as 18.5% in a single year. And it took them 2 years. 1974, the country broke. Monday day Washington with him cap in hand. They inherited possibly one of the strongest net international reserve around the world at that time. 2 years to take them. And we lost 25% of our GDP. Come back again between 1989. And we lost 40% of our GDP. Shabba, them don't believe in a frugality, you know. They don't believe in a frugality. We can tell by them reaction right now, they don't believe in it. But that is the PMP what we have to deal with. We can't take the chance and we can't give up the fight. And we cannot be distracted as labor rights. We have to keep the course. We have to keep informing the people. That is our job and our responsibility. Simply put, that's our job. We cannot be distracted. Because they are focused on the propaganda, they are focused on the lies, and they are spending their money to make sure it is out there. The only thing that we have as the Labour Party supporter is a genuine love for this country. That's what we have. That's what we are used to meet them. We have a genuine love for the country, and we have to keep it that way. We have to keep it that way. TikTok, I will be back in a little bit. I have to go assist with a little homework, but I shall